It's Little Bridge for Zach Burton. It's going to win for Zach.
After taking both Group 1 sprints at last year's Royal Meeting, Overseas Raiders once again figure prominently in the betting for the King's Stand and Diamond Jubilee Stakes. Spearheading the challenge is Australian speedster Sham Express.
Yeah, he took the trip really well. That's obviously the big thing here. You're a long way travelling, but he seems to have taken that really well, and importantly, he's enjoying Newmarket. He's a very happy colt, seems to be very relaxed in the environment here, and all good so far.
And what made you think of him as a potential colt for Royal Ascot?
Look, he's a horse that obviously I had a good opinion of, but his win in the Newmarket was what sealed the trip. It's our biggest Group 1 sprint in Australia, and it's got a real tradition of horses winning it and then coming into Ascot and winning as well. So when he won that, it was a pretty easy decision to make.
And how would he compare with Star Witness?
Star Witness was the champion 2-year-old and 3-year-old of his year, and was a better horse earlier in his career. But I think coming to this stage of their career, both 3-year-olds both competing at Ascot, I think Sham Express is the equal of him at this period.
And he's relatively lightly raced compared to the Australian horses that normally come across to contest these sprints. Is that a concern for you at all?
Yeah, look, I think he's coming here at the right time of his career. As you say, he's certainly nowhere near as seasoned as some of the takeover targets and Black Caviars that have come in, because he's only a 3-year-old. But he's a horse that's in a really good space in a time where I think he's still improving, and I expect him to show that when he gets there on Tuesday. He's going to run in the July Cup, so we just thought the one run at Ascot would be as much as what he'd need.
And with that run, why did you decide to go for the 5 furlong race rather than the 6?
Just because he's 3.5 months from his last start, and it's a pretty stiff 5 furlongs here, and as I said, being a bit fresh, I think the 5 furlongs would be ideal for him.
And it is a fairly testing, undulating track at Ascot. Does that hold any concerns for you?
It's a little bit different for us. Most of our tracks are very flat. This horse is a beautifully actioned horse. I don't think that'll affect him.
And ground conditions, what would suit him best?
He's very adaptable, but obviously most of our races are run on good to firm, so if that's the case, then I'll be pretty happy.
Who'd you rate as the one to beat?
Look, obviously, the bookmakers are usually the best guide to that, and they've got the South African horse Shay the favourite, and looking at his win in Dubai, he probably deserves to be that.
Next week will be about 5 weeks he's been here. Did a month's quarantine in Dubai. He's taken it in his stride. He's been a bit tricky up the gallops here. He's used to going around turns, and he tends to relax better around a turn than he does, having a big long stretch of gallop in front of him. He wants to run and run hard. So it's been a bit of a challenge restraining him. We've had to use the treadmill quite a bit. Fortunately, he goes very well there.
And with that in mind, does Ascot itself as a track hold a few fears for you?
Not really. I've got a feeling, that the uphill finish will probably be in his favour, as long as he remains balanced throughout the race with a couple of undulations that there are. But again, you've got a bloke like Christoph on board, good hands, good feel for the horse, knows the horse well. We'll leave it to him. We've done as much as we can in trying to school him to those sort of conditions.
And it was hugely impressive in Dubai, but he did seem to need his first run out there. Any concerns that after a layoff he might need a run again?
I suppose there's always a concern because you never really know, but it's a different scenario in that he came into that first run there really off, doing not a hell of a lot, through Mauritius 3 months, then on here for a month, then to Dubai. And it was under handicap conditions too. So he was giving away, I think, almost 16 pounds to some of the horses that were in the race, short of his best. I don't think we're in the same boat this time.
Were you surprised by quite how dominant he was in the later sprints in Dubai?
I must admit, I knew he was good, but the performance on World Cup night was a special performance. Just in training, we didn't feel that he had improved that much. We thought that he was as well as he was on Super Saturday, but he actually stepped up, which was a little surprising. But I suppose the good ones do that, don't they? Really, it doesn't matter what we do with them.
Do you feel he's in the same kind of form now?
He looks like it. Yes, yeah. He's happy. His coat's good. Eating well. His work's been exceptional. So I'm hoping he's in that similar sort of form. Yeah.
And the plan just to go to the King's Stand rather than double up?
Yes, I mean the other race is in just in case something goes wrong. I mean you never know in this game, they can pull a shoe or do something that you stuck for two days or whatever, and it's more just in case.
And just a word on soft falling rain. He on course for the July Cup?
Yes, yeah. He's battled now since he's come back here to train. He started going a little sore in the hindquarters in the back going up the hills here, so we've had to come right back in his work, do a bit more treadmill work with him, and just really get him conditioned to start training properly up the hills.
And longer term, is the plan for Shay to stay for the July Cup as well?
Yes, definitely. I think the July Cup will suit him. He's a winner over 6 furlongs at Group 1 level, so I don't think there's an issue with the trip. And it's quite a tough 6 furlong, I think, so it'll suit him.
And just a final question, how would these two compare to the horses you brought over here before, the likes of JJ, the jet plane?
Yeah, I'd say he's right there, with JJ. JJ was also an exceptional sprinter, and there wouldn't be it's hard to choose between the two. Quite different horses, funny enough, but certainly when it comes to ability, there wouldn't be much in it.
We've been here just on a week. We got here late last Thursday night, and she had a bit of travel in Australia. We flew out of Melbourne. She had a bit of travel because she had to come from Brisbane to Sydney and Sydney to Melbourne, and then on the flight here. So there's no doubt that took its toll there on the weekend. But we've been very light on her. I mean, she worked this morning, but she's had a very light time leading into that, and got her in the pool yesterday, and I would suspect she's back to where we would expect to be heading into next Saturday.
Mike de Kock was saying Shay took a bit of a dislike to the undulations of Newmarket initially. How's Sea Siren adapted to it?
Yeah, look, it was our first morning. They're letting her get her toe out there this morning, and look, it's just an experience that she'll benefit from, and it's you can only condition them in a manner in which you see accustomed that she's going to benefit from that. So look, she's probably going to have another couple of pieces of work before next Saturday, and that'll be on a similar style of ground just to try and get her to adapt to that.
And is that the reason why you're going for the Diamond Jubilee rather than the King's Stand as well, just to give her a bit more time?
I think that's worked out ideal. Initially, probably not, but it's just that she changed ownership, and she was sort of stretched out in trips, so she's sort of fourth up into a campaign, and now part of the world you can take a bit of speed out of your legs, and she was out to sort of 1350 metres or nearly 7 furlongs. So for that, probably that's why John elected for the 6 furlongs of the Diamond Jubilee, and just not coming back to the 5 furlongs, but I would suggest the extra time has definitely been of benefit for that matter.
And Australian sprinters have carried all before them at Royal Ascot in the past few years. Do you think she's up there with the horses that have come over and been successful before?
Don't think it's ideal that she hasn't won this preparation coming here. Look, from a neutral point of view, like if you're looking at her, but probably for where she's at in her preparation, she's only just coming right. She's a very big gross doing mare, and she's only just sort of getting near to where she was when she was winning Group 1s last year. Now, at the peak of her form, most certainly, she's a well-credentialed horse outside of Black Caviar that's come here. I think probably the added bonus or the added thing in our corners is that we're afforded the opportunity with Coolmore now owning the horse and preparing them for Coolmore, that Ryan Moore's engaged to ride her. His skill set in the saddle is unquestionable, and he's held in the highest regard up here, and we're delighted to have that acquisition and Ryan in the saddle.
And will Ryan have a ride on her before the race?
Yeah, most certainly, yeah. We've been in contact a couple of times and bounced a few ideas off each other and see where everything fits in, and he will definitely ride her next Tuesday morning before he heads down to Ascot.
And just in terms of the opposition, any horses you're particularly scared of?
I wouldn't say we're scared of. We've got a healthy respect for just preparing our horse and getting her there in good order, and a healthy respect for the opposition that will front. It's probably debatable as to she might have found the right year with the race falling away a little bit, and Society Rock being an older horse. I think what will be important for us is to be drawn around what are the chances in the race, and it might be an opportunity with Ryan just to ride her that little bit quieter and give her an opportunity to attack the line. If that's the case, she'll exercise a pretty good turn of foot.